Did you know you can sew buttons on with your machine also? Let's walk you through the steps. By the way, when I am done making buttonholes, I'll leave a little button in the back of the foot. Remember, that was the automatic foot. And then when I store it away, I'll remember 6 months, a year later, that is where the button needs to go for that foot. Now, first off, buttons are all different widths of holes, aren't they? They're not. Even though this looks like the pink one's eyes are wider than this one, when you actually line them up, they're actually the same. It's an optical illusion. Go figure. So the width of our stitch, a zigzag that we want to use back and forth, we're going to set the width to about 3.5. It can be 3, it could be 4. 1/2 of a millimeter will not make much of a difference. So set your width at 3.5. You want to select a zigzag stitch. Make sure it's stitch number 2. And it doesn't matter what the stitch length is. And here is why. We're going to take the accessory box off and we're going to lower the feed dogs. Now, back behind the free arm of the machine, there is a lever. And I'm going to push it to the right. And when you do that, here, let me take this foot off because we don't actually need it anyway. No foot's used. When you lower the feed dogs down, you kind of hear a click there. When they go down, it doesn't matter what the stitch length is, and that means that the needle's just going to go back and forth in the same hole and not actually move the button through. So we're lowering the feed dogs. Keep in mind, though, many people will slide the lever back to the right to engage it. Click, but nothing happens. Those teeth don't come up. They don't come up until you actually take a stitch. So if you just hand turn a stitch, I held my threads, there they are, and just start sewing pretty much once you've moved the lever back. So we're moving it once again to the right. Click, they're down. We're going to put the little accessory box back around for a little bit more support. Now, I've selected a button that has kind of a ridge around the edge, and it's got 4 holes. So I'm going to show you how I go about doing this. First off, I'm actually going to sew the forward 2 holes first. So the zigzag stitch is set, but I want to make sure that my needle is positioned over the holes, and I'm going to turn a stitch by hand, and as soon as I've cleared both holes, then I can go ahead and sew back and forth, maybe 8 or 10 stitches or so to really hold it. Now, since this has a ridge, when I slide back, that foot's going to kind of make that button kind of angle up. So what I'm going to do is actually just turn it around. Then it doesn't matter. You really can finesse this to get it exactly where you need. Once again, line up needle in hole number 1 full stitch. Hole number 2, I'm cleared to go, and just go ahead and stitch your stitches. When you're done, you can actually take these stitches or the threads and pull them to the back and tie them off. So you can get a hold of one of these. One will come through the back. The last stitch you took will come through the back a little easier. Let me see if I can get that to pull through. There we go. What I want to show you is how you can tie this off. Also, a little fray check on the top part of this button when you're done. And you will not have to worry about these coming undone at all. That's a little trick you can do. You can just take a bottle of fray check to your closet and just dab a little bit of the glue on every thread that's or every button that you have on any of your blouses or pants. But for right now, what I'm doing is taking the threads to the back and then tying them off. And that will kind of secure that last stitch since we didn't really have a locking stitch to take. And that is all you need to do. Trim these down and our button is stitched.